welcome to I'm Hungry. So this whole conversation about being hungry started like not because I was ready to eat hungry, but I met with my business coach. So I think like you should have like several coaches in life. Like I have a business coach, I have somebody that mentors me, I have another mom that I go to for stuff when I'm just like frustrated and stuff. So, you know, and I do that for other people. But in this meeting with my business coach, we were just discussing like where I wanted to see my business go, how it was growing, what I needed to change. First of all, let me tell y'all, I was completely and totally upset with him initially. I had mapped out this whole big thing that I wanted to see for my business. Like I had wrote it out, I had notes, I had all this stuff written down that I wanted to see, talk to him about in reference to my business. And when we sat in the meeting, he took my papers and he crumbled them up. And I was thinking, like, I worked hard on this. I worked hard to put this plan together of where I wanted to see my business go. And he was like, we already been there, done that. He crumpled my papers up and he threw them away. Yeah, the level of frustration I hit when he did that, I was just thinking to myself, like, I did all this work, all this research, and it took him like 2 seconds to destroy it. But in the midst of him destroying that, he took out his paper and it was clean, it was fresh, it was white. And he was like, we're going to start from right here. You tell me and we're going to break down what it is that you want to do. So we go through the conversation and I'm telling him what I want to do. And he is very, he's a consultant. He is a former student that I used to work with. He's a consultant and he consults with a lot of major big name companies. I'm like probably his smallest project is me, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool. I'm glad I got in on the ground level, so he blow up. So I was telling him what I wanted to do, and he was like, "Well, what are you?" And so I'm like, "Well, I'm not Nika." He's like, "Yeah, okay. What are you?" And I'm like, "I'm just one hot mom. I'm the parental guidance counselor." He's like, "No, what are you in reference to your business? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to make multiple businesses? Are you trying to grow this? Like, what are you? If you were to sit here today and tell me what you are, what would that be?" And I was just sitting there like, I don't know. Like he was like, "Well, are you goal oriented? What are you?" And he just kept asking that question. And in my mind, I could hear him keep asking that question. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm thinking I'm answering the question for him. And he's like, no. He's like, "No, what are you?" And then I just remember I was like, "I'm hungry." Like that. And he was like, "Okay, now we're getting somewhere." He was like, "Well, what do you mean by you hungry?" He's like, "Nick, we know." He's like, "Are you physically hungry?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm hungry." I was like, "I'm ready for this to happen for me. I'm ready for it to take off all the stuff that I put together, all the hard work I've done." I was like, "I'm hungry. I'm ready to get what's mine. I'm ready to eat." And he was like, "That's what I'm looking for. Like, that's my girl." He was like, hunger. So he was like, "Let's look up the definition of hunger." And I was like, "Well, it means to eat." And he was like, "No." He was like, "It goes so much deeper than that." And so the definition he gave me was having a strong desire or craving to go after something. And I was like, boom, he hit the nail on the head. I was hungry. I'm hungry for my success. I'm hungry to feed into other people. I am hungry. And so the more we started talking about the conversation, I started to develop this episode into why I'm hungry and why you should be hungry too, and why we are afraid to say that we're hungry, and why we're not sitting at the table and eating. So that hunger, that desire, that thirst, that energy, that I want what's mine and I'm gonna take it, like that's what I was saying, like when I was saying I'm hungry. So meeting with Hector's like, "Okay, you hungry." So he was like, "What are you hungry for?" And I was like, "Well, I'm hungry for success. I'm hungry to, collect these coins." I was like, this is all I'm hungry for." He was like, "It's got to go deeper than that." He was like, "What is your desire? Like, what do you want to do once you get all these things that you say you're hungry for?" He was like, "That's going to be your real hunger." And I was like, "Well, I want to reach moms. I want to reach women." Like, so we started like going over like different type of moms to reach. We just started getting into a lot of different stuff. And he was like, "You are hungry." You die. He was like, the change in your face when you said you were hungry for this. He was like, you started to like lift off stuff. He was like, I bet you none of the stuff that you wrote on your papers that you researched are going as deep as what you're describing here. And he was right. When you have a desire to do something and you really want it, you'll have a hunger. There will be a burning desire inside of you to do what it is that you need to do to like satisfy that hunger. And so it was just like, when he said it, like, what do you really want to do? And I'm asking you guys, what do you really want to do in life? What is it that causes you to be hungry? Like, you have an unfulfilled desire. It's that burning, that craving in the gut of your stomach that even when you go to your regular job, you don't feel it. And maybe some of you do. Maybe what you do for a living is actually feeling that desire. But what is it that is nagging at you, that is causing you to be so hungry? Like, it's just like, it's something that's never satisfied. And I know personally for me, I was like, I wasn't satisfied. Like with my regular 9-to-5 job, thank God, it pays the bills. But there was a hunger. There was a deep desire to do something so much greater than what I was doing. And I was hungry for it. Like, I hadn't been getting fed for what I wanted to do. And so I was sitting at a table hungry. And so that deep desire, that deep craving that you have in the pit of your stomach that's never satisfied, that's your hunger. That's you. It's telling you, it's like that Snickers commercial, and it's like you act a plum monkey fool when you hungry. But when you get that thing that you're hungry for, then your hunger goes away and you can return to your normal self. So what are you hungry for? What is it that is deep down inside of you that is eating at you, that changes you into being another person because you're not getting that hunger? That hunger is not being satisfied. What is it in you that rightfully you should be doing? It's the desire of your heart. It is a craving that you have, but you are not doing it. Why are you not doing it? So when I said I was hungry, it wasn't for food. I could go downstairs in my kitchen. I could go buy something to eat. There is a hunger inside of you that goes so much deeper than being fed. There is a hunger inside of you that's calling you out to do something greater with your life. But because we don't know that we hungry, or we try to, you try to diet that hunger, like your desire, you try to like, no, it's not time for it. I'll be hungry and I'll be okay. Like, you have got to feed that hunger, or you're going to walk around and starve for the rest of your life. And that starve is regret. When you don't go after what your craving is, what your desire is, you end up with a lot of regret. And so I wanted to tell you guys what stops us from eating. Fear. Fear is one of the biggest things that stopped us from going after what we desire. We're afraid that we won't be able to do it. We're afraid that we won't get the customers we want. We're afraid that we'll fail. We're afraid of so many things, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, that we don't go after what we're supposed to go after. That hunger is in you for a reason. That hunger is there, and so you got to go after it. We don't eat sometimes because we don't know what we want to eat. There is a desire in you to do something, but you haven't hit the nail on the head for it yet. Like, that there's something that you want to do, but you haven't quite figured it out yet. That's okay, but that doesn't mean that hunger will subside. Your job to do is to go and discover what it is you're hungry for. We are all on this journey to do something greater. We are all called to do something greater above and beyond ourselves. And some of us never figure it out. And we live a life full of regret because we don't take the time to position ourselves to figure out what we're supposed to be doing in life. So we starve. We starve ourselves for not living in our purpose. But when fear is set aside, when you figure out what you want to do, then you can start to set your table. And that is the magical part of hungry, is setting that table. It is such an awesome and amazing feeling to set your table before you and to know that you are about to eat. Now I'm going to give y'all a little biblical scripture because I had to take it back because, Hector is my business coach, but the Father above is my ultimate coach. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm hungry. I have a desire in my heart to do these things. Like, I feel this burning sensation, dear Lord. I need to be fed. What can I do? And set fear aside. Set fear aside, because the longer you allow fear and regret to hold you hostage, you're gonna starve. And who want to starve? Who wants to starve? I don't want to starve. I want to feed that hunger that's burning inside of me, that purpose that is inside of me, just like, oh, my stomach is touching my back because I ain't got control of it yet. So here is the thing. When you live in fear and you're worried about X, Y, and Z and who's going to be there and who's not going to be there and who's going to support and who won't support, when you're worried about all of that, you lose focus at what is on your table. And God tells us in Psalms 23, he prepares a table before us in the presence of our enemy. God is the host. You are a guest, and you are the head guest at this table. So when you sit at the table that he prepares before you in the presence of your enemies, y'all ain't ready for this. When he says that he is sitting at the table before you in the presence of your enemies, that means that you can eat. Why are we not eating? Why are we not eating? He's telling us, he's setting us up. He's setting you up so that you can achieve the desires of your heart. But we are afraid to eat because of what other people might say. Let me tell you, if God is the host of the table and you are the ultimate guest at that table, and he's telling you that you can eat everything that you are asking for in your heart, God is telling you you can eat. Why are you afraid to eat at your table? Why are you afraid to go after what is coming, what is meant for you? He's telling you, like, if we take every part of our life and we reflect back on God's word, he tells us in his word that I prepared the table before you. Your enemies are going to show up to the party. They're going to be the main ones there. They're going to be dressed super fly. They're going to come up to you. They're going to hug you. They're going to kiss you. They're going to congratulate you. That's what they're going to do. Then they're going to sit at the table next to you. But I'm telling you that I have put on the whole armor for you. You are the honored guest at this table, and nothing that they could do could come up against you. But first, you got to be willing to sit down at that table and put everything else to the side. Let me tell y'all, I'm ready. My table is set. And all my favorite foods are there. All of the things I want to do, my podcast, my blog, being a good mother to my kids, being an awesome friend, being an awesome lover, all of that is at my table. And trust and believe, I have seen people sit at the table with me and not be there for me. But because I know in my heart that that table is set specifically for me, that everything at that table is meant for me, I can sit there and not worry about being afraid to step out and do what I'm supposed to do. See, for a long time, I'm going to be honest and transparent with you, I lived in a state of fear. Like, who's going to listen to me? Who's going to believe that the words I say are true? Who is going to trust me to coach them, to mentor them? What gives me that right? Because it is an honor and a privilege when somebody invites you into their life to help them go to the next level, to elevate. It is an honor and a privilege. You should never take that for granted. I never take that for granted when somebody says, Nick, I need your advice. That is an honor and a privilege and a trust. And so that was a fear for me, like, who is going to believe me? But then why be afraid? Why be afraid? My Father does not give me a spirit of fear. He has already set me up to win. So who am I to deny my Father the purpose that he set for my life? My table is set, y'all. My table is set, and it's set up for me. And guess what? Your table is set, and it's set up for you. Your purpose, your hunger. You are ready. You are ready. Even today, when you think like, no, I need 2 more weeks to get ready. This isn't positioned here. I can't do this because this ain't positioned right. Forget that. You are ready. That hunger, that craving, that desire that you have is telling you that you're ready. You're ready to take that next step. So guess what? All you got to do is get your chair, get your best clothes on, and sit at your table and enjoy everything that he lays before you. Because honestly, for me, I know I was killing myself, working to prove myself to people who could care less about what I have going on. They could care less that this was a hunger for me. They could care less that this was a desire of my heart. But in my mind, I needed their approval. But then I had to come and say, Father, please point me in the right direction. What am I supposed to be doing with this life? And I cleared my table so that he could set down what I needed. See, I'm telling y'all, I want to take self-care to a whole different level. A whole different level. I get my nails done, get my hair done. We all know I could get sparked by the best. But what I'm saying is my self-care goes to a whole nother level of feeding my soul, feeding my mind, feeding my mental. It goes so much deeper than what people can see on the outside. Let your enemy sit at the table with you. Let them eat that deliciousness that is you and only you. Let them sit there and eat, because there is someone that sits on a much higher throne that has given you the authority to walk in your purpose. And once you set your mind that you're going to believe his story over the stories that you may hear from those around you, baby, it ain't nothing that you can't eat at your own table where you are the guest of honor. So with that being said, hotties, I need for you to get ready. I need for you to act like we about to go into a formal dining room. Put on your best dress. Go get that face beat and that hair done, because God has your table ready. He has set up your table. He has invited everybody to a party where you are the guest of honor. God has already told you he's going to do above and exceedingly beyond what you expect him to do. Your table, you may say that your table may only be set up where, I don't know, I like expensive stuff. I want the lobster. I want all this. My table is going to be set up to go after everything. Like my 3 books are already written and sold, and I have been on the New York Times bestseller list for 2 or 3 years, honey. That's the desire of my mind. He has already told me that if I want it, go for it and get it. I've set it down at the table for you, Nick. People are going to tell you that you can't do it, but I'm going to tell you that you can, and you got to believe my word over theirs. I believe you, Father. I know it's going to happen for me, and hotties, it is going to happen for you. Trust that your table belongs to you. Trust that you deserve to be honored at your table, and trust that he is going to do above and exceedingly beyond what your mind can think of. That hunger, that desire that you feel to do something greater, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. It may not be writing a book. It may not be starting a podcast. Whatever it is for you. Our desires won't be the same because we're not the same people. And even if they are the same, they still won't be the same, because guess what? We are not the same people. But what feeds me might not feed you. So you got to go get your own table. And you got to sit there, and you got to get comfortable, and you got to start eating from the things that you desire. You can't be afraid to eat what God has already put before you. Don't be afraid. Go ahead on down, sit. Me and this thing is about to fight. Go ahead on and sit down at your table and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the hard work that you have put in to earn the right to be the honored guest at that table. You earned it. He's giving it to you. It ain't nobody else at that table going to get the same things that he's given to you. Because guess what? Y'all know what I say. What God has for me is meant for me. It won't fit you right. And guess what? What else is at this table ain't going to taste right for you, because it's meant for me. So, hotties, I just want you to put that in your heart, put that in your mind, carry it around for you, that there is something set up so spectacular just for you. And declare it, and every day walk around with your crown a little tilted, knowing that that is just for you. Everything that hunger is meant just for you, and you got to feed that hunger. And everything that you use to feed that hunger is meant for you. So go ahead on, sit and enjoy it. Enjoy the company, enjoy the party, enjoy his love showering down on you because you deserve it. You deserve it. Your father wants to give you that. Let me tell you. Okay, Father, thank you. I appreciate everything you about to throw my way. And I'm going to walk in gratitude and faith and love and peace and joy. Because let me tell you, I'm not going to starve. And you shouldn't either. So, hotties, I'm hungry. And you should get hungry too. And when you figure out what that hunger is, you should for sure feed it. Sit at the table and enjoy all the fruits that he's going to lay before you. Because only he can do it for you. He's going to plant that seed. He's going to nurture it. He's going to give you that hunger. And then he's going to give you the tools to feed it. But if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to starve. And who wants to starve and live a life full of regret, full of pain, joyless, all because you were too afraid to sit at the table and enjoy what God has for you? Hotties, it's been an amazing journey. And my table still has seats at it that need to be filled, and it has room to grow. We might have to add another table because this party don't stop, and neither should yours. Guess what, hotties? You've been tuned in and you've been elevated. I will talk to you soon.